Thanking you all for joining today's webinar, just to learn a little bit more about the fellowship program. My name is Cynthia Valentine, and I'm the Deputy Director to the Pickering program. I have put together a couple slides for you all just to kind of run through. And as I go through this presentation, since we do have a lot to get through, please feel free to submit any questions that you may have over the course of the presentation into the chat box. I have two colleagues on the call who are actively monitoring it and are available to answer your questions as they come in. And this session will be recorded, so to ensure clear audio, please remain muted throughout the course of the presentation. So if one of you could start the recording for me, please. Perfect. All right. So as for the overview, the Pickering Fellowship program is dedicated to developing the next generation of Foreign Service officers. Our program's mission is to promote excellence and diversity within State Department's Foreign Service, and through its partnership with Howard University and Department of State, we aim to provide our fellows with tools and opportunities needed to be successful in their diplomatic careers. Now, I did want to touch on when we say promoting diversity. Diversity for us encompasses a wide range of attributes and even experiences. And it can include, but not necessarily limited to, individuals from racial or ethnic groups that have been historically underrepresented in the Foreign Service. In addition to racial and ethnic diversity, we also encourage application of women who have been traditionally underrepresented in certain fields and roles within the Foreign Service. We also aim to have candidates from various socioeconomic backgrounds, particularly those who have faced financial barriers to higher education. We also want to further enrich our pool of applicants from different regions of the United States, including those from rural as well as underserved areas. And our program values individuals from a variety of educational institutions, such as HBCUs, HSIs, and really any other minority serving institution, just to further contribute to the educational diversity of our fellows. And really for us, recognizing the importance of varied life experience, we do look for candidates who have overcome personal adversities, or our first generation college students, and really just have a unique perspective on international affairs. So although the Pickering program encourages application from members who have been historically underrepresented in the Foreign Service, as well as those that need financial need, it's not the sole eligibility requirement. The core eligibility requirements are our minimum GPA of 3.2, being a US citizen, as well as admission to a 2-year full-time in-person graduate program, with the goal to start in the fall of 2025. But we'll cover that in more details in subsequent slides. So here, as I mentioned, just wanted to go into more details on this requirement. So applicants will be required to provide a copy of either a naturalization certificate, birth certificate, or passport. Please, when you do upload these documents into our applicant portal, make sure that the name in the citizenship document matches the name used in your application. And for whatever reason, if they do not match, just provide or upload a verification document just to clarify reasons for that, whether it's due to marriage or et cetera. As I mentioned, for the GPA requirement, our minimum is a 3.2. And if your final undergrad GPA does fall below a 3.2, unfortunately, you will not be eligible to apply. And we do not round up GPAs. So for instance, if your GPA is a 3.17, that unfortunately does not meet our minimum, but we do use a weighted GPA scale for applicants who attended multiple institutions, provided you attended each institution for at least 1 year. And, the whole point of us really collecting GPAs from our candidates is it really just helps ensure that whoever's applying really does demonstrate an academic excellence and really just prepared for the demanding nature of graduate school as well as a career in the Foreign Service. As for graduate programs, again, we do support a 2-year. It has to be full-time. It needs to be in person. So unfortunately, online degrees will not qualify. And at a US-based institution, the program that you seek should be relevant to the Foreign Service. And candidates must apply again to a graduate program by the fall of 2025 or be admitted into one for the fall of 2025. So we do get asked a lot about joint degree programs that involve a year outside the US. And again, depending on the program, it can actually be eligible if the degree is awarded by a US institution and it falls within the 2-year timeline. So here is, I feel, everyone's favorite slide, the money slide. I just wanted to provide a breakdown of what our award covers up to. So the fellowship does provide significant financial support for your graduate education. It covers tuition, fees, living expenses. And we really do this just to help enable our fellows to just be able to focus on their graduate studies as well as their professional development without the burden of financial stress. So as for the tuition assistance, it does provide it directly to your institution that you attend. And we notify the institutions of your status as being Pickering Fellows. And for the $18,000 stipend, as well as the $11,000 stipend you all receive towards your summer internships, those will be issued directly to our fellows once they do begin their graduate school programs and their summer internships. As for, obligations, with great benefits come with certain obligations and requirements that must be fulfilled throughout the 2 years of the fellowship, which includes clearances, security, medical, and suitability. I'm just going to briefly run through each clearances and what that entails. So for security, it's really just there to ensure that you all can be trusted with confidential information as Foreign Service officers. This process will begin immediately after you are awarded the fellowship and you sign the contract. So you will be required to provide detailed information up to about for the past 7 years or so, including your residency, your work history. And I just want to highlight some common issues that might hinder this particular clearance. Is usually due to recent drug use or financial mismanagement. A lot of times when it comes to marijuana use, it is still considered a federal offense. And if you have used marijuana in the past, let's say 18 months, I would encourage you, if you are interested in applying to this program or the fellowship, just first stopping the use and maybe reapplying at a later date or the following cycle. As for medical clearances, this is really just there to ensure that you are fit to serve in various parts of the world, including in locations that may have limited medical facilities. This process, it does involve an in-depth medical evaluation, which is either conducted by your care provider or at times one facilitated by the department. And for this clearance process, it'll just basically assess your overall health and medical history just to determine if you can manage any existing conditions while serving in challenging environments. So again, for the medical clearance is just there to ensure that you are capable of handling the physical demands of serving, potentially in remote or medically underserved areas. Now, as for the suitability clearance, it's there to just evaluate whether any past issues or problems may come up during your service as a Foreign Service Officer. So this clearance is specific just to the Foreign Service or State Department's Foreign Service, and it's not commonly found in other areas of the federal government. And again, it's just really there to assess your overall suitability to represent the United States overseas. And it, again, considers any potential issues that may arise from your past in case of emergency or even a critical situation. Now, similar to the security clearance, common issues such as drug use or financial mismanagement may prevent you from getting this clearance. And one thing I do want to clarify when I say financial management, this clearance more so focuses on how you manage your finances rather than the existence of debt or financial obligations. So again, you know, having debt and things like that wouldn't be a cause of concern. It's more so, you know, if you have been consistently delinquent over the years for repaying back those debts and things like that may be a little bit of a flag. But the suitability clearance, again, is there just to ensure you can uphold the responsibility and standards expected of a Foreign Service officer, especially in challenging or unexpected situations. Now, while discussing clearances, I do think it's important to know that if you are unable or unsuccessful in receiving either of the clearances, there may be potentially a repayment obligation just for tuition and the academic stipends that were paid out to you on your behalf. Things that are not things that you wouldn't be required to reimburse back are the internship stipends, because that is considered a reimbursable expense since you all would have performed work in exchange for the stipend. So again, the repayment obligation is just those paid towards tuition and your academic stipends. But for more details or information about, you know, each clearance process or common issues, we always encourage you all to refer to Department of State's website. Now, as I mentioned, you know, for GPA, our fellows are required to maintain a 3.2 GPA each semester throughout their graduate program. Our fellows are also required to take the FSOT and FSOA exam. And for those that don't know, the FSOT is the Foreign Service Officer exam, and it basically just assesses your general knowledge, skills, and ability that are essential to be successful as a Foreign Service Officer. It can cover a wide range of topics, including you know, government and history, world affairs, economics, etc. As for the FSOA, which is the Foreign Service Oral Assessment, This is just there to determine if a candidate's suitability for a dynamic and often demanding role of foreign service officer. So this can include, series of exercise designed to evaluate your interpersonal communication and problem-solving skills. The second element, as I mentioned, is grad school programs. Again, just want to reiterate, any grad programs that you seek must be 2 years, full-time, in person, and US based. And, when you're thinking of, what may qualify, just keep those elements in mind that I just mentioned. You should, when I talk about relevancy in terms of what would be relevant to the Foreign Service, common fields do include studies such as international affairs, public policy, public administration, business administration, foreign language, economics, as well as political science. As I mentioned, the degree must be awarded by a U.S. institution. If for whatever reason there's an element of it completed abroad. And, example we see with this is with Johns Hopkins. They have a program in which there's a year that's spent in Washington, D.C., and the other year is spent abroad in Bologna. But again, that does qualify because it's awarded by Johns Hopkins University. So dual joint degrees, as I mentioned prior, they're eligible as long as the structure meets the 2-year full-time and in-person. And it's, again, the degree is awarded by a U.S. institution. And just want to reiterate, all candidates must be applying to their graduate school to start by the fall of 2025. So here I wanted to go a little bit more in detail about the graduate schools and some of our partner institutions that you all can consider, as well as other considerations when choosing what program best suits you. So the Pickering program, we do have some partner institutions with a variety of graduate schools that offer support and additional funding to our fellows. While the list is approximately, I think it's like 45 partner institution, fellows are not limited to these schools. And again, there may be a variety of points to consider when selecting your graduate programs. But for our partner schools, again, they provide additional financial support, resources, benefits to our Pickering fellows. This might include, tuition assistance, stipends, enhanced academic support. The list of our partner schools, if you're interested in checking that out, is available on our website. And again, these schools have committed to supporting our fellowship goals and providing just really a conducive environment for our fellows. Now, when it comes to selecting what graduate program may work for you, again, as long as it meets those criteria of 2 years in person, US based, you may want to consider choosing a program, again, that's relevant to the Foreign Service. As I mentioned prior, in terms of, a program that best suits you, you can consider institutions' culture, what the class sizes are, what the access is to faculty members, support resources, and whether there's any flexibility in the curriculum, just to ensure it's really aligned with your professional goals and personal needs. So, I would also encourage you all to, if you're not going with a partner school, investigate other financial support mechanisms offered by institutions, which could include merit-based scholarships or assistantships, to really complement what the fellowship is funding towards your tuition. And evaluate any career support or professional development opportunities available, such as networking events and things such as that. If you all at any point have any questions about whether a specific program qualifies, you just really need some advice in selecting, graduate programs. We always encourage you to, reach out to our team. And for those who are actually selected as fellows, we do offer them one-on-one advice to help them navigate the selection process, just to ensure they choose programs that meet all our requirements. So here is our summer program. To start, once you are awarded the fellowship, which should take place in early December, all our fellows would be required to participate in orientation, which is a week long. It's in person. It's designed to focus both on your professional development, giving you insight into the life of a Foreign Service officer. Our fellows do spend 3 days at Department of State, which really helps them become more familiar with the department through a variety of discussions, workshops, simulation training activities, as well as networking events. As for the internships and professional development that we provide in the subsequent summers, we also have our fellows participate in a 10-week internship, which would be hosted within various offices and bureaus throughout the Department of State. Now, this internship will take place in DC, and it's really there to provide our fellows with firsthand experience of what it is to work on, U.S. foreign policy and things like that. And as for timing, this internship will actually take place the following summer, after our fellows complete their first year of graduate school. And again, during this summer, the fellows will be immersed in these internships of the day-to-day operations at State, working on projects that may include policy analysis, administrative support, event coordination, and more. And really, again, it's really designed to help give our fellows a deep understanding of how the department functions and just further prepare them for their future roles in the Foreign Service. And in addition to the domestic internships, our fellows throughout the course of the summer will also need to participate in skilled-based professional development sessions that our program will host. These sessions will include writing, so our fellows will, receive training on how to craft clear and effective policy briefings, reports, or any official documents. There'll be briefing sessions, which will include practice sessions for delivering briefings, whether that would be help prepare you for briefings with senior, officials, or really any key stakeholders, is to further hone their ability to convey complex information succinctly and persuasively. There'll also be public speaking workshops, just to further enhance our fellows' communication skills. And most importantly, our program will offer a very robust mentorship and networking opportunities, just to help connect our fellows with either experienced Foreign Service officers and diplomats. And again, these relationships provide really invaluable guidance and support, especially as our fellows are navigating their career or future careers in the Foreign Service. Now, there's also will be an overseas internship that will also be for 10 weeks, and it will be based at different U.S. embassies and consulates abroad. Again, for these internships, it's there to really offer our fellows a hand-on experience on the global perspective of working on U.S. diplomacy. These internships will be completed the next summer, which will be the second year of your graduate summer or graduate school. It will be that following summer. And again, fellows will engage in a wide range of activities, including public diplomacy, consular services, economic and political reporting, as well as program management. The overseas experiences are really a great way for our fellows to have a better understanding of the practical aspect of diplomatic work, as well as international relations. Here, upon completing your graduate program and fulfilling all the programmatic requirements, our fellows will have to commit a minimum of 5 years service obligation. This service obligation is really just there to ensure that the investment that the Department of State put into our fellows' education and training directly benefits the department and contributes to the nation's diplomatic mission. Here is, I just wanted to kind of share with you what the application checklist is. So the Pickering Fellowship application process does involve both a manual entries as well as materials that will need to be uploaded. Here's just a detailed guide of, for each required component of our application. For the first part of the application, you'll need to begin by inputting some of your general personal information. There's a statement of interest section, which is around a 600-word essay, just basically demonstrating your potential for success in the Foreign Service. And really it's there to also highlight your writing capabilities. There's also a component for financial documents. Our fellows, or not fellows, but applicants will be required to submit a student aid report, which would be generated by FAFSA. And it's really there just to provide us with, what your expected family contributions will be, and really any other financial details. There's also a financial needs statement, which is designed to provide more or additional context to what we read from your SARS or student aid report. And this is, again, just detailing any additional financial challenges or your need to have that you will need in order to attend graduate school. And again, you'll have the opportunity to, say what your current financial obligation or any debts that you may have, or what your family responsibilities are, if applicable, or any extraordinary financial circumstances or hardship. It's just really there to just provide a little bit more context in your financial need. We also require applicants to submit transcripts from every institution you have ever attended. This is particularly important if you have transfer credits, particularly those transfer credits if those grades aren't shown on your main institutions. So, for example, if you have completed a 2-year associate degree, then transferred to a 4-year institution, you must provide transcripts for both schools. Unless your home institution includes your associate degree and your associate degree, and it shows all your grades. And then again, if selected as a finalist, we will require official transcripts. For the application piece, we do not need official transcripts. But again, if you're selected as a finalist, we will need, and just please note the minimum GPA. Whoops. For letters of recommendation, there will be 2. There will need to be an academic one, and this letter should really just come from someone who could speak on your academic abilities, your potential to be successful in grad school. For those who may have been out of school for quite a bit of time and may not have the same connection as, to the faculty members, you can get a supervisor or any other professional as long as they can discuss your skills that are relevant in the academic setting. And, again, this should include your writing, research, analytic skills, and really any other abilities that would be critical for grad school. And as for the professional recommendation, this letter should come from someone who can speak to you all as emerging professionals, and ideally, this person can discuss your interests, either joining the Foreign Service, your suitability for it, and just really and how you would be successful in this career as a future FSO. So both letters must be submitted electronically via our application portals. And once you go through our application process, there'll be instructions on how to do that. So again, please don't email in your recommendation letters. Do it or upload or have it be done or administered through our application portal. As for GREs and GMAT scores, there's an option to include the scores. Again, it's optional. You're welcome to submit it if you feel like it enhances your application. There's no points of allocation for the GRE or GMAT scores. So you're not required to do it at all. If you want to, that's perfectly fine. Here, I just wanted to elaborate a bit more on the statement of interest, both the statement of interest as well as the financial needs statement, because they're both equally as important. For the statement of interest, it's just, again, it's a 600-word essay. It's there to showcase any personal background, professional goals, and experiences that you may have that would prepare you for the Foreign Service. It's not only a demonstration of your writing ability, but also a platform to present a compelling narrative of why you would be suitable for the fellowship, as well as your commitment to public service. And then the other one is when it comes to tips for writing it, please use specific examples to illustrate your points rather than making general statements. Provide concrete instances that showcase your skills, your experiences, and commitment. Ensure that your essay is well organized, clear, and free of any grammatical errors. And just make sure your statement aligns with the goals and values of the Pickering program, and show that you understand the program's mission of how to contribute to its objective. One thing I do want to highlight is by carefully crafting your statement of interest, you can really effectively communicate your passions for international affairs and readiness for the challenges in the Foreign Service. For the financial needs statement, again, this is another important element to the Pickering application. And again, it's really there to just provide some additional context for the information that is submitted through the STARS. But again, the financial need statement offers the opportunity to explain any financial circumstances in more detail. This really helps the selection committee understand your need for financial support beyond the numbers, again, that are provided in your student aid report. And really just use this statement to discuss any specific financial challenges or obligations you may face that will impact your ability to fund your graduate school. And, just things I would like you all to just keep in mind when writing it, just, as much as you can, provide a clear, honest detail about your financial situation. Please provide specific examples or figures that can really help illustrate your need for more financial support. Feel free to explain how the fellowship's financial support will enable you to achieve your academic and career goals in the Foreign Service. I think it's a really, important element to make sure you include. And just most importantly, just make sure you proofread the statement for clarity, grammar, and completeness. Again, your financial needs statement is very important. And our selection committee members will be reading it very closely to kind of have a better understanding of your unique financial context of what you may need. So just take the time to provide a thorough and thoughtful explanation for whatever your financial circumstances are. So so just want to again reiterate some of the key important reminders or takeaways for this overview. Again, the GPA requirement's strict. It's a 3.2. Unfortunately, we are unable to round up, but it is weighted if you have attended other institutions for 1 year or longer. You do not need to be admitted into a grad program at the time of the application deadline, which is September 26th, obviously. But you need to be, seeking enrollment with the goal to be enrolled by the fall of 2025. And you'll find out whether or not you were granted the award by the fellowship again in early December. So you'll still have quite a bit of time to submit applications for grad school, and our program is here to support our fellows in making that decision process. Again, GREs and GMAT scores are optional. And just ensure your recommenders and other materials are submitted electronically via the application portal and not sent to us via email. Next slide. All right, so I also wanted to highlight that we do plan to host some other series of upcoming webinars that are really just there to or designed to provide more comprehensive information as well as support throughout this application process. These webinars, again, will cover a variety of topics that could help prepare you for your application, and as well as what the expectations or benefits are of the fellowship. Some of the webinar topics that we plan to facilitate will include, foreign service, lifestyle, and career insight. Again, we plan to, for those type of webinars, we'll have, conversations with current foreign service officers, as well as Pickering alumni. We also will do webinars on how to write a personal and financial needs statement. I know I talked about it a bit on during this webinar, but again, we wanted to go more in details on some strategies for crafting a compelling and effective personal and financial need statement. We also will host webinars on obtaining a strong letter of recommendation, tips for selecting recommenders, and just ensuring they provide impactful letters. And again, be really focused on both for recent grads or even those who have been out of school for a while. And we'll also, at a later date, do a graduate school selection and application webinar, just providing some advice to choose the right graduate programs and how to navigate that application process, and understanding, what our partner institutions offer program eligibility and additional funding opportunity. So again, the Pickering Fellowship website and our social media platforms will be announcing the specific dates and times for each of these webinars. And again, just as you did for this one, you can register for any of these webinars through our website or the registration link on our flyers. And some of these may require advanced registration due to limited spots. But please note, while most of these webinars will be recorded, there may be a few that we will not record or allow participants to record, especially those dealing with current FSOs. And we just do that just to ensure we can have more candid discussions. But again, key insights into these sessions will be highlighted on our social media platform. So this is where it concludes the formal presentation. Please continue to visit our website regularly for any updates on any upcoming webinar dates that we may have, those registration links, as well as additional resources. And we do look forward to supporting you through your application journey and helping you succeed as Pickering Fellows. So with that, this does conclude the formal presentation. Again, if you have any specific questions that were not addressed during this presentation, feel free to reach out to our team and set up a call or send us an email, and we're happy to address those. Thank you, and I hope you all have a nice rest of your day.